Hi, I'm Matt Linderson. In this video, I'm going to explain what happens and what to expect when entering the United States or Canada at a land port of entry as a tourist. I say as a tourist because if you're entering the country as a resident, the questions are more about where you've been and what you're bringing back rather than who you are and where you're going. Some of these questions can also be applied when entering by air, but usually when you enter by air, there can be more to it, like they can take your photo, your fingerprints, or whatever. That's usually standard every time. For me, it is anyways, but this video is more just about land border of entries. But this isn't just about the US or Canada. You can also take these into effect when entering other countries too. But specifically, I'm just talking about entering the United States from Canada or entering Canada from the United States as a tourist. I frequently enter the US by land from Canada, so these tips come from my own personal experience, and so your experience may differ from what I have. I've noticed that when I travel with other people with less experience, most of them they feel like they were treated rudely, or they had an uncomfortable experience. And I mean, it's not supposed to be fun or enjoyable. It's completely serious. You have nothing to worry about if you're not doing anything illegal. So just relax, stay calm, and answer truthfully. Do not attempt to lie in any circumstance. Do not lie. I can't stress that enough. If you are hiding something or you're entering illegally, then you should stop this video now because I don't want to help you enter. So just remember that. Don't try to lie. Just tell the truth and comply with all instructions. Generally, the procedure goes like this. When you're coming into the border, if there's line, pick a line, wait in line. If it's empty, just go right up to the booth. But in most cases, there's going to be a line, so you advance to the inspection booth once the lane has cleared. Usually, I just automatically shift into park, but it's a good idea because you don't want to be there and get confused and take your foot off the brake, and then you're going to start rolling. It can cause a little stop. Anyway, so just shift into park. I do it all the time. It's the best thing to do. There's no need to shut off the engine unless instructed to do so. They usually don't unless they're going to inspect. They're going to ask you to pop the trunk, but I mean that doesn't usually happen. Roll down all windows on the left side of the vehicle so the officer can see and speak to everybody in the car. If you're in a minivan, you got to open that sliding door on the side, and so he can see in the back seats. If they ask you how many people are in the vehicle, or if they don't, if they miss someone, make sure that they know how many people are there. The driver will hand all passports to the officer, and it's faster if you have them all open to the photo page and all stuck together, so when you give them to them, it's all open the photo page. You can just pull them out and check everyone in the car matches their photo. Most of the questions are answered by the driver, but depending on your situation, individual passengers can be asked too. In most cases, the officer will then grant you entry by returning your passports to the driver. You can then proceed into the country. In some cases, you may be required to park and go inside or proceed to a secondary inspection area where you park the car. They're going to search it or whatever, and they'll do this before granted entry. There are a wide range of reasons for this, and I'm not going to go into that, and it could just be even at random. It's happened to me, just completely at random. And just also, they're going to keep your passport. They're not going to give them back until you've satisfied a secondary officer inside. So don't be alarmed when they don't give back your passport. I find it helps to practice answering the most common questions on approach to the border or while waiting in line. Remember that the majority of remember the majority of the questions are going to be asked to the driver, but again, passengers may also be asked certain questions. Don't expect a border officer to be friendly or polite or happy. Majority of the time, they will speak firmly and they will look directly into your eyes. Here are some questions that you could or should expect to be asked as a tourist entering the country. Where do you live? Where are you going? What is the purpose of your trip? Where will you be staying? Be specific. Hotel name, address. If you're staying with someone, how do you know that person? How long will you be staying in the country? If you're entering with other people, how do you know each other? If entering the US from Canada and you're not a Canadian resident, they will ask, If you're entering the US from Canada and you're not a Canadian citizen, they're going to ask, what is your status in Canada? Are you permanent resident? Are you temporary worker? Whatever your case may be, they're going to ask. Where do you work, if you work? Where do you study, if you study? Have you or anyone traveling with you ever been arrested or previously denied entry? What are you bringing in with you? Like, do you have anything to declare? What is the total value of all items remaining in the country you are entering? It includes gifts. How much money are you bringing in with you? And also, who is the owner of the vehicle? If it's a rental, make sure you have your rental agreement there on hand. Usually they don't ask, but sometimes if they do, you want to be prepared to just give to them. It will go much faster. Remember that you might not be asked all these questions, but you should consider them. Consider they may ask you more detailed and specific questions that you might think are completely irrelevant. For example, if you say you're going shopping, they may ask what you're going to buy, which shops you're going to, stuff like that. Something really, that you think is completely irrelevant. And the point is, you still got to answer. They're not just asking these questions for your answer. They want to know how you will react to being asked. So, it's all about body language, facial movements, body movements, tone in your voice. They're all trained to read that, so they can detect if you're lying. Some people feel intimidated by the process, and if you become defensive or start getting angry or frustrated, this will increase the number of questions. If you don't behave appropriately, you can expect consequences. If you feel you've been interrogated, it's because you are. Don't ask questions. Don't make jokes. Don't be a smartass. It can help if you look at it from the officer's point of view. They don't know who you are or what your intentions are. Their first thought isn't that you're a terrorist or a drug smuggler. It doesn't matter what your citizenship or nationality is. If you ask someone a simple question and they responded rudely and defensively, would you believe them? I wouldn't. I would ask more questions. I'd be like, that's weird. Why did they respond so angrily when I asked them a simple question? Finally, it's not just you being asked these questions. It's every single person that crosses that border is asked the exact same way, and most of the time the same questions, depending on their situation. But it's always the same tone, the same interrogation, They're just doing their job by protecting the border at the front line. And they do it by reading you, not just, listening to your answers. It's all about the body language. So try not to be intimidated, and just relax. That's what I can say. Don't I mean, it's okay to be nervous, because of course you're going to be. I was nervous the first time I went across, but the more you do it, the more relaxed you are. So just take some deep breaths, relax, stay calm, answer the questions. When I go across, I've done enough now that when they ask me a question, I respond the same way, the same tone, that same monotone. No, you just answer the question. It's not about your life story. If they say, "Where are you going?" New York City. What is personal trip? Tourism. Just that's all I need to know. So I hope this helped. Let me know if if I should say anything else, mention anything else, and if you do use this video to help you cross, let me know how you went, because that would be really really interesting to know if I actually helped you or not. I'd like to know. So you can email me at feedback@mattlinderson.com. Tell me all about your trip. If you used this video, even if you didn't go and you just think this video helps, because I was explaining it to some other people, these procedures, and they said it helped. It made them feel a little like they know what to expect. So it's not like a shock, like, why is that person so angry? What is with these questions? It's normal. It's not just when you enter the US either. It's when you enter Canada or Australia. Or there's a lot of countries. They just ask you the same way because it's, it's normal. So yeah, I hope this helped. Let me know how you go. I'm Matt Linderson.